معاهدة.
Statement threatening and saying that strict punishment will preside those who join the revolution. But Khaled said he was arrested along with dozens.
موطني الجلال والجمال والسناء والبهاء في رباك والحياة والنجاة والهناء والرجاء في هواك هل أراك سالما منعما وغانما مكرما سالما منعما وغانما مكرما هل أراك في علاك تبلغ السماك موطني
قال الله سبحانه وتعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين. And you who have believed, seek help through patience and prayer, for indeed Allah is with the patient. May Allah keep the iman of the Palestinian people strong, increase their patience, and accept their shuhada. Ameen.
The Jews were dispersed across various regions, like Eastern Europe, Western Europe, and Russia, that in that time was under the Soviet Union's control. The Jews didn't really like the idea of being separated, and they wanted to make a Jewish homeland. They wanted Palestine as a Jewish homeland. Theodor Herzl, the founder of modern Zionism, decided to collect some people around him, spread the idea of making Palestine a Jewish homeland. In 1897, he made the first Zionist Congress in the capital of Austria, Vienna. He said, and he announced, that the road to Jerusalem was opened by today, and then we created today the Jewish state. But if we say this publicly, all the world will laugh at us. Maybe in 10 or 50 years, all the world will know and accept it. Soon, all humanity will live as long as it serves us Jews, chosen by you.
A lot of Saudis at the time refused this idea, saying that Palestine is forbidden for the Jews because of their sins, and that they can't enter it or take it as a homeland. But nobody really cared. The English were actually the biggest supporters of the Zionist movement at the time. They were loud in public with their interest in establishing a Jewish state. So much so that in 1906, VII, Campbell Bannerman, the Prime Minister of England at the time, said that it was necessary to build a barrier on the bridge that connects the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea, and that it is crucial to put a power that is against the owner of the land and that it is friends with the European people. After World War I, the cards of the Middle East were being redistributed, and the land was being cut into slices like cakes. Now, the Zionist movement became more and more popular because Palestine was no longer part of the Ottoman Empire. So now they could finally get the support of the Western nations and the Soviet Union and make their dreams come true.
In 1919, Charles Spain, an American biographer, went to Palestine to write a report about the situation there, saying that we can't make a Jewish dream in Palestine without using the force of arms, adding that they need at least 50,000 soldiers to make a dream come true. He said all these statistics were the proof of that our cause is unfair and the project is a big mistake. And he left a commandment to leave the project of making Palestine a Jewish home. But as always, nobody really listened. The League of Nations approves the British mandate for Palestine and its purpose, helping to establish a Jewish homeland in Palestine. Ihsan was announced as the English representative for the English mandate, to kill and to oppress people, and to make a safe surface for a dream that cannot become true without using the power of physicism. After lots of tension, they finally agreed on the terms. With the big decision in the air, they signed the papers, deciding the fate of nations in a really dramatic moment.
Also known as the Western Wall, to pray and to show their interest in rebuilding Herod's temple. This woke up a Sunni Muslim revolution led by a farmer named Farhan al-Sadi. John Robert Chancellor, the representative of the English mandate in Palestine, published a strongly worded statement threatening and saying that strict punishment will preside those who join the revolution. Farhan al-Sadi was arrested along with dozens, and they were sentenced to death.
The 1935 Arab Revolt that continued to 1939. Ihsan was a trap was set for Ihsan in 1935, and he was killed with his movement. The death of Ihsan was going to be an inspiration for the generations who will come after him. A generation that will free an occupied Palestine.
In 1946, Erdogan bombs the King David Hotel in Jerusalem, martyring 91 Palestinians. Menachem Begin, the leader of Erdogan, gets stopped by the English authorities as he was responsible for the terrorist attacks against the Palestinians. Please remember the name, Menachem Begin.
The partition plan for Palestine was proposed by the United Nations, which recommended a partition of the Holy Land at the end of the British mandate. On 29 November 1947, the UN General Assembly adopted the plan as Resolution 181. A big disaster was knocking on the door. They were dispossessed from their homes, lands, and villages as a result of an Israeli ethnic cleansing operation during the Arab-Israeli war between November 1947 until this day.
ذبحوا كل الشباب، قتلوهم، صفوهم على الحيطان وقتلوهم، قتلوا الولد، قتلوا المرأة، قتلوا
طيب كثير هاي مهم النقطة، خليني أسألك عنها، لأنه في ناس بتفكر إنه الفلسطيني هرب، ترك أرضه وهرب. أنتوا شو اللي خلاكم تطلعوا من الصفصاف وتيجوا على لبنان؟
الصفصاف أم الشهداء فيش منطقة بفلسطين راح فيها شهداء وكله مدنيين، فيش عسكر، كله مدني، كله قتلوا الناس. قالت له أم غالب
Against the Palestinians didn't stop here, where in the beginning of the same year, armed Zionist group Haganah bombed the Seminarist Hotel in Jerusalem, where they martyred more than 20 people.
Zionist attacks continued in February to the village of Tisalia in Haifa, an early example of ethnic cleansing.
And a couple of months after, Stern gang and Irgun forces exasperated their violence and massacred Palestinians in the village of Dar Yassin near Jerusalem.
And then at the end of the year, UN General Assembly passed Resolution 194, affirming the right of return of Palestinian refugees after they got kicked of their homes with the force of arms. After 1 year, Israel occupied 11 cities, demolished 500 villages, occupied 100 without destroying them, to make them a settlement. And as a result of all these, 11,000 Palestinians got killed, 30,000 were injured, and 850,000 Palestinians were displaced from their lands.
And then in 1956, the violence against Palestinians exacerbates, and Israel massacres more than 3 villages, the villages of Qalqiya, Kufr Qassam, and Khan Yunis.
In 1964, the official Palestinian representatives, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, is formed in Gaza.
And then in 1967, the state of Israel shocked the entire world, where it seized the remaining Palestinian territories of the West Bank, East Jerusalem, Gaza Strip, as well as the Syrian Golan Heights and the Egyptian Sinai Peninsula in a matter of only 6 days.
After the war ended, an agreement was done, a map was being drawn, Israel was going to get out of Gaza and the West Bank, and Jerusalem was going to be under the international supervision. In 1978, Menachem Begin, who was responsible of the killing in Jerusalem in 1946, killing 91 people, became the Prime Minister of Israel. At that year, Egypt and Israel signed the Camp David Accords, the agreement which solidified the idea of land for peace. In that year too, Menachem Begin took the Nobel Peace Prize.
And then in 1982, Israel invaded Lebanon for the first time, which marked a secret goal where we found out that they had a plan for the conquest of the Middle East.
After 5 years, the first Intifada is launched in the occupied Palestinian territory.
And then in 1988, the world hears devastating news wherein the Palestinian Liberation Organization recognized the state of Israel.
After 3 years, the Madrid Peace Conference happened. The conference marked the first time that Israeli and Arab delegations openly met for peace.
But that agreement was going to be demolished by the Israelis themselves.
After 2 years of the peace agreement that happened in Oslo, the first peace agreement between Israel and Palestine, officially, the blow at some terms. They gave Gaza and the West Bank to the Palestinians. But a Jewish right activist didn't really like the idea of giving Gaza and the West Bank back. So he made Yitzhak Rabin pay. He made the Prime Minister pay with his life.
Of the Oslo Agreement. They also martyred 57 Palestinians in Geneva.
After 3 years, Israel leaves Gaza. The withdrawal of Israel was caused by the pressure of the Palestinian resistance and the tunnel wars that targeted very important locations for the occupation force. Ariel Sharon, the Prime Minister of Israel at that time, announced the full withdrawal from Gaza. And Gaza became that year the symbol of the resistance in Palestine.
In 2006, war breaks between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. And if you notice, this isn't the first time where Israel attacked Lebanon. And this shows that Israel's intentions weren't limited to just Palestine, but in fact that they had an entire plan to change the map of the Middle East.
After 2 years, Israel attacks the Gaza Strip in what it calls Operation Cast Lead. Peace activists on 2 boats drop anchor in Gaza, breaking the Israeli blockade.
In 2012, Israel attacks Gaza once more in what it calls it the Operation Pillar of Defense.
In 2014, the violent actions of Israel created a spark. One of these violent acts were kidnapping, torturing, and burning a teenager who was named Muhammad Abu Khder. After this incident, the war lasted 51 years, and it was one of the most hard times for Gaza. And after that, 2019, then Saif al-Quds in 2021. But nothing was like the last war. On October 7,
In 2023,
history was made.
but everything has a price.
Unfortunately, this is how Gaza looks.
Yesterday, the Israeli military missile striked one of Gaza's largest refugee camps.
تلقى المستشفى المعمداني قذيفتين.
يا الله قصفوا باب المستشفى.
في ظل هذه الجرائم المتواصلة بحق أهلنا وشعبنا، وفي ظل عربدة الاحتلال وتنكره للقوانين والقرارات الدولية، وفي ظل الدعم الأمريكي والغربي والصمت الدولي، فقد قررنا أن نضع حداً لكل ذلك بعون الله. ليفهم العدو أنه قد انتهى الوقت الذي يعرقل فيه دون محاسبة، فإننا نعلن بدء عملية طوفان الأقصى.
يا قدس إني ما رضيت ببيع أرضك للعدا، قسما إلهي لن أكون مع اليهود معاهدا.
And as always,
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
فإذا العروبة أشركت وتصهينت وتأمكت نأتي بفوارس الأحبش ومن اليهود تحرر نفديك فستنكسر الحدود وسيتحد الوجود هي مقبرة اليهود. أشركت وتصهلت وتأمركت نأتيك بفوارس الله ابشري ومن اليهود تحرري نفديك فستنكسر الحدود